Where is the conversation with race supposed to end up? With a better understanding? Is that it? Is that the purpose of the having?
A conversation about race? Well, that's a real good question. I don't know where it winds up, and I think it has to do. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, and we're just two white guys having this conversation.
Right. I think it's supposed to lead to some better understanding of where people are at, what they have to deal with.
Yes. Yes.
And to try to start to fix the wrongs by shining light on it somewhere.
Yeah.
Awareness brings light into the dark.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Leave your false impressions at the door. It's time for Carl and Mike.
Welcome, Carl and Mike. I'm Carl.
And I'm Mike.
And we're back here at the Corner Bakery Cafe, but not in the corner booth.
No.
Mike's a little upset about that.
I'm getting territorial.
You're like a dog that's speed on the thing right there. A cat.
Yes.
Yes. You're sending bad juju to people that are sitting there wanting to hurry them up.
I know.
But we're on an audio podcast here. They can't tell what seat we're in.
They can't?
No.
We talk about it. I think it affects how we
do you?
The shows, yes. I think that corner.
I could understand maybe on the video podcast, 5 questions with 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But I don't really see how in Carl and Mike episode we could be sitting.
Well, I
in any
feel
coffee house.
I tell you what it is. I feel secure back there. I feel exposed.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you're exposed when you're sharing your opinions on the air.
Okay, now people think about this. Think about going to your local cafe or where you and your friend eat burgers or whatever, and all of a sudden you set up a couple of microphones and you do a show. That's what we're doing.
Right.
It was hard to do this at first. Now it's not a big deal, except I want that damn booth. Anyway, and people don't pester you. You'd think people would come by and go, "Hey, what are you doing?" No.
It's America.
No, it's America.
Live and let live.
That's right.
So we're living.
Yeah.
Not in the corner booth.
Not in the corner booth, yes. Okay.
Right. So
how's it going?
Still on the crossroads, still with the dog. She's not working. Her back end's not working. But everything else looks real good. Now, some people say put her in a little cart or something like that, but I don't know if I want to do that. And I don't want to put her down. So I'm in limbo land with the dog. Do you have any ideas on that?
No, you're moving in the right direction.
You think we should put her down?
No, I think you're moving in a direction where you'll make the decision.
Yeah.
You know, that's
my
what
wife
I say
has made
right
the
direction.
decision. She feels the dog's suffering and we should put her down.
Yeah.
I guess I'm the holdout on that.
Is the dog moaning or groaning or?
Not very much. You know, no doubt the dog has to be in some physical discomfort.
If you touch her back, is she sore?
She actually likes sitting and scratching.
Yeah.
You know, her eyes are bright. I mean, the blood works good. Everything else is good. Just the back end's not working.
How's her quality of life?
Well,
sucks, right?
She's still going for her. Yeah. It's not as good.
Yeah.
But I mean, her quality of life, you know, she's not chasing squirrels.
No.
Which she used to be.
Yeah.
Out in the backyard. And she's kind of hanging out in the den these days. So my philosophy was let's give her X period of time to see if she can get better.
Yeah.
The question is how much time and, you know.
What is the damage? I mean, does anybody know what the damage is? Is the hip broken? Is it dislocated?
She goes, she's walking semi-sideways at times when she walks, and when she goes to pee,
have they done any X-rays to see if there's anything?
Well, we're gonna have to do that, but we can't get her to the vet. Just to put her in a car, we're gonna have to lift her up.
Yeah,
it's gonna cause pain.
Huh?
It's gonna cause.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get her to the vet. I mean, it could be something as simple as, you know, her joints out of socket and it can be popped back in. Who knows? But until you get that,
we popped it in.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting mixed messages from vets too. So, anyway, let's move on because by the time people hear this,
it's going to be
one way or the other.
Campaign update. What I'm looking at now is this friend of mine in town that works for somebody who is a big Democrat, and they had Hillary in, you know, and it's $2,700 to go.
$2,700 to do what?
to go to the event, a dinner.
And why is $2,700?
Because that's the most that you or I can give an individual candidate
without
during the,
directly to the candidate.
Yeah, directly to the candidate. Okay. So the thing is, do you know anybody that would write a check to $2,700 to anybody?
After our little 5Q5M the other day when we said how much money have you ever given away?
Yeah. No, I don't know anybody that gives that kind of money to to campaigns.
I gave $50 to Obama in 2008.
That didn't buy you a cream puff.
It bought me a lot of emails.
Yes, that's what it does. It gives you a lot of emails because they want you to give more. Yeah.
But you know what? I think there's only like less than 5% that ever give to a political campaign. Mm-hmm. So just giving $50
you
puts
think
you in
that
a 5%
would be the upper percentage, upper 5% of the
yes
neighborhood? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the vast majority of people who vote, the common folk, the common man, all the yous and I's, we don't give money to campaigns for the most part.
We don't usually. No.
If you do, you give small amounts. But anyway, so here you are in this room, and there's X number of people there that are all writing checks for $2,700, and whether it's Hillary or Jeb or whoever, everybody's doing that, and and that's the wealthy. That's a collection of the wealthy. They do it in another wealthy person's home, and they give money to a campaign. Then there's the bundlers, and I think the bundlers, don't they? They'll go out and get $2,700 from different people or less, and then they bundle it and give it to that person.
Right.
Okay, so that's like.
So they out recruit their friends, kind of like network marketing.
It's an envelope full of $2,700 checks.
Right.
And that's the.
And you are as a rounder upper.
A rounder up. Then all of a sudden
you get extra.
Oh, you get brownie points. You get
pictures. You get extra stuff.
Yeah, you get all the. You get
your
the
job
T-shirts,
is to round the money up.
You round the money up.
Call the people, do the fundraising.
The more money you're able to round up and bundle,
right.
the more access that you have.
So the politician really probably just talks to the bundlers, who are given some nice title.
Yeah, or a nickname like Georgie used to give everybody.
Yeah. So there you go.
So anyway, that's kind of what's that. You just
the only way around all that really would be campaign finance reform, where you, X amount of dollars from every taxpayer.
Yeah, that's where you're trying to do that.
That's how you would have to work.
Yes, and
that would take it out of the hands.
Yeah.
Of the big money.
Yeah.
But you'd also have to outlaw 501c.
Yeah. So there's that's a whole another harangue.
Who's going to do that?
Who's going to do it? Well, it's not going to be the people that are making money off of it or benefiting from it. They have no incentive. It's going to have to be all the people that are not writing checks, the yous, the me's, the we, the people.
But how do you get the politicians are the ones that are going to have to make the laws are made by Congress?
Yep.
It's going to take more. See, my contention is to get the campaign finance reform, you're going to have to change some other things around Congress.
There's a whole bunch of catch-22s.
Yes.
It's a catch-22.
Yes. Or we could have a one-year benevolent dictator kind of runs the country for a year.
Yeah.
Kind of like what happens when you go to bankruptcy? It goes to a, what do they call that?
Mediator?
It goes in the hands of somebody holds it for a year to get the company back on straight. We need that for the country.
Yeah.
Like, what's that word? They call them something. So if you go in bankruptcy, you're the company is put in the hands of not an estate, but they're put in the hands of somebody who then fixes the company. We need the country.
We need a Ross
to be put in the hands of a benevolent dictator for 1 year.
Yeah.
Fix bring all the fairness back.
Yeah.
Clean up Congress.
Honestly, that's what I thought Ross Perot would be, because I figured okay, you get a dictator now, you get a dictator later, but you're going to get it one sooner or later.
But a dictator would, in a sense, abolish Congress for a year.
Yeah.
And he's just going to clean it up.
Damn.
That's really what we need.
Yeah.
Kind of start over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost.
We need somebody to come in there and wipe
get back into a representative democracy, because right
Yeah.
now we don't have that.
Yeah.
We have oligarchy.
So anyway, this thing in Charleston has been interesting. The thing that's interesting about anytime something like that happens, there's always people that go, well, we need to start a conversation.
Yes.
You know, what the fuck does that mean? And why hasn't
I think
anybody
the conversation is supposed to be a
com-
black man and a white man sitting together,
together
or
and
blacks and whites.
And I don't
not
think
man,
that, I don't
could
think
be
that,
women.
yeah, I don't think that it has to be that. I think
No?
it's just you and I could start a conversation.
Two middle-aged white guys.
Huh? Two
Start a
two
conversation
middle-aged
about
white
race?
guys. Yeah. I mean, well, sure.
What would the conversation look like?
Well, it would be two middle-aged white guys sitting there talking. What it would sound like is something like, you know, I think you have to take ownership of who you are and the way you were raised and what your belief system is, and then how does that fit in with what's going on? Does
Okay,
it?
so we are not,
or not? I don't know. I'm
we
asking.
are in the majority, all
Yes.
right? So we're in the majority in a lot of areas. I mean, we're in the majority based on skin color. We're in
Yeah.
the majority based on income. We're in the majority based on, majority, privileged. In other words, we don't have the hardships. We have
No,
from
and
college
it's- and
education,
that privilege is
both college educated.
based on just accident of birth.
Right. So we're middle class, we're white, we're college educated. So we jump 3 steps ahead of the average person.
Right.
We're male.
Right.
That's another step ahead. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's 4 steps ahead.
Yeah.
We may be 4 or 5 steps ahead of the base. So
Yeah.
let's say a baseline is everybody's at a line.
Yeah.
We've jumped 4 steps ahead. If you're female, you jump a step back.
Yeah.
You know, if you're black, you take another step back. If you're poor, under a certain level of income, you take another step back. If you're a lesbian, you're going to take another step back. Okay, so you could have someone, you know, where we're all created equal. That's the idea, right?
Yeah.
That's the story. But
Isn't
we're
that-
not all created
who-
equal.
who said we're all created equal. Isn't that on the?
Isn't that in the? That's on. Is that in the Constitution?
Yeah.
All men are created equal.
All men are created. Yeah.
Somewhere.
Ooh.
But we're not all created equal. We've taken 5 steps ahead of equal based on who we are. And black female lesbian, poor black female lesbian is 5 steps behind. Okay? So that's a difference of 10 steps there.
Yeah.
All right? So,
And a lot of this is not just who or what you are. It's an economic thing.
yeah.
You know, so you can be. There's a complete spectrum there, and I guess what we're saying is recognize where you hit on that spectrum. Understand that's your starting point.
Right.
Okay, that's your starting point in
for
life.
jobs and everything else.
For everything.
Because guess what?
Opportunities,
Guess
the
what?
whole ball of wax.
Guess what? They already have done studies. That person with the black name, you know, or if you put Juan instead of John on your resume, okay, that resume doesn't get anywhere. Like
Yeah.
10 times.
No,
To
well,
what?
here's a good example. I had a partner once,
Yes.
and his dad was
It's a business partner.
a business partner. His dad worked for a television company, you know, and it was like, I don't know, NBC, CBS, one of the big ones up in Detroit. And he was in a position where he would hire, and so he had to interview.
Right.
And whenever he would interview somebody who was black,
Right.
he would draw up in the corner a circle and put an 8 in it.
8
8
ball. Oh.
8 ball is black. So nobody would tell that he was doing that, but that's what he did.
Remind himself.
That is what some people would call soft racism. I call that
hardball racism.
It's a hidden racism.
Yes.
And that's the problem. It ain't the flag. Yeah, the flag is all well and good, and we're going to get rid of that, and that's fine.
Right,
But that doesn't get rid of the guy that interviews somebody and puts an 8 ball in the top corner.
Right. And you're,
Or the-
you're disabled. That's another step back. I mean, there's a
Yes.
bunch of steps you can go backwards, and there's a bunch of if you're born into a wealthy family, take 3 steps forward.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and so everybody, if you think about everybody's running a race here, and everybody's
Right.
in tracksuits, and
Exactly.
when they're
When
born,
they're born,
they're born
supposedly
at
they're all on
different
the-
they're
right.
born at different positions along
On
that
that
line.
line. That's correct.
The winning finish line still down here,
Right.
although that may be changed. That probably changes too.
Yeah, because
it's
there's
not,
some lanes you can't even get into.
That's right. There's not a set line.
Right.
Yeah, I would say the finish line probably even has. It's not a line that's equal for everybody that crosses through it.
Right. Well, let's say the finish line was, you know, you get a job, you get, you know, you grow up, and right,
Yeah.
right. Somebody, if you're wealthy, white, male, you don't have to take as many steps to the finish line.
No. You don't. You don't. And
so you have to recognize that.
Yeah.
You know, you have to recognize we are.
Yeah.
We should be. It should be all equal, but it isn't all equal.
Yeah. And I think no, it's not.
You don't.
And there's nothing
as a white man,
nothing anybody can do to. Well, I'm not saying that. When you say that, that immediately puts a limit to you.
Right.
You got to recognize that that's what it is. You also have to recognize that there are people that are born wealthy. It's like Ann Richards said of George Bush when she was running with him. He was born on third base and was convinced he hit a triple.
Right.
No.
Exactly. That man was several steps ahead of that line.
Those people are acting entitled.
Right. So sometimes government comes along and says, "Hey, we recognize these." So right now, really, what the fight is with like gay rights. Okay, so if you're gay, that's definitely a step back from the line. One of the steps back. So a lot of times what the government's trying to do is just trying to.
At birth. That's not even at birth. That's something that's down the road.
Yeah, but you're going. If you're a kid that's gay.
Yeah.
You're going to get it from bullying in school all the way up to today not supposed to be being able to get married. Right. So a lot of times what the government's just trying to do is to take away some of the steps back to try to get at least to the starting line.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not like these entitlement programs is to get them 4 steps ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
It's really get them just to recognize that they are already several steps back from the starting line.
But then there are people that are further down the track that were born more in a more beneficial home or whatever that feel like there are people back here that are being given something that they're not being given. Right. And so there's that whole
thing. I
think
we veered a little off of race now. We're all kind of, it's beyond race.
Yeah, it is. And but see, I think that's part of it, I think.
Well, I think if you're black, you have unique situations in America that even someone else who's disabled may not have. In other words, you don't have a cop stopping you because you're in a car. Your chances of getting stopped by the cops in a car, if you're black, is way higher.
Yeah, you know what we're doing? We're experiencing why people don't have these conversations.
Why is that?
There's so many things that overlap that get talked about.
Yeah.
Because now we're bringing cops into it. We're bringing, we started out as where you're born and people feeling entitled or being given things that they're not or feel like somebody else is being given. And all those are part of the conversation. They're not separate conversations. It's all an overlap, and maybe it's trying to back that shit out and trying to untie the knots that we've gotten ourselves into. Is it?
Yeah. We definitely got off of race and into all the starting line really, and if we want to keep it focused on race, there's things you and I just don't even know.
Yeah. No.
That we don't have experience. Whether people walking away from us school and walking down the street.
Yeah.
To all sorts of shit we'd have to bring. That's why I say 2 white guys talking about it can only have a limited discussion.
Yeah, and
we don't even know.
And we mentioned that on some of our other episodes, how black dads have to sit down with their black sons and say, okay, look, this is the way it is. This is things you got to worry about, be concerned about, understand that's happening out there that you may not even see, but you need to be aware of it.
And you see what I think's happening with the advent really of the smartphone is it's giving an opportunity for America. And it's been really happening since we started this podcast, especially around race, to see some of the shit that African Americans have to put up with being black.
You're saying use the smartphones as cameras to record stuff that wasn't being recorded before.
Yes, it was always there. We're now seeing it, which is leading to discussions.
All of a sudden, that's opened a window onto that world that wasn't there. The smartphones are the cameras.
Yes.
Of the phones.
So now
we're
seeing the police brutality. We're seeing the unfairness. We're starting to see some of what was already there. We're starting to see why people are. Have just by the color of skin as a step back on the starting line. Right?
And so what's happening is the focus has been on the police, and it's not just necessarily the police; it's the culture that stands behind the police a lot of times.
And let's talk about it because now we've seen so much injustice, right, with the police and pulling people over like in Ferguson and stuff like that. So now you got to, and if you're just black driving a car, you're getting pulled over so much more. Now that really ties into if whites got pulled over as much as blacks, if whites were treated the same way by the police, how many more whites would be in prison?
Yeah.
Right? So there's a lot of people in prison. They showed the guy, they gave that guy, the kid who killed the 9 black parishioners, right? He was hungry afterwards when they picked him up, so they took him to Burger King. Right?
Really?
Right. They showed a picture of, here's a kid, and he's going to Burger King. He's got the little suit on, the little protection in case someone tries to shoot him on. This is how you get treated when you've killed 9 black parishioners. This is how you get treated when you're trying to sell cigarettes on the street corner with all the cops on that black guy. It's really, that's what's happening. Well, now, does
the cops' defense up in New York, the reason they didn't stop at the Burger King is because the guy in the back of the paddy wagon couldn't breathe. You know, and so how are you going to eat if you can't breathe?
Yeah. So, you know, we're starting to see what was always there. We're starting to see the differences.
Yeah, and don't get the idea that we're saying all cops are bad, because they're not at all. There are certain bad apples, just like there are certain bad apples that are politicians, that are bankers that work for Wall Street, that are wrestling coaches, that are priests, that are whatever. And these people need to be found out, rooted out, and gotten out of there.
So,
well, and now we're getting off race again. That's another.
It's really a conversation about multiculturalism and where you are on the plane.
Yeah.
On the line.
Yeah. Well,
you know, so what else would be?
And this is an attitude that I think has more to do with age. I was talking to my mom, and we were talking about Perry out in Los Angeles, and Perry's saying it wouldn't be someplace that he would necessarily want to live if he wasn't trying to build a profession out there, but he knows that's where he needs to be. And Mom says, I just don't like it out there. It's so third world. And I'm thinking to myself, Southern California's third world? It's about as first world as it gets. So I said, so what's third world about it? And she said, all those foreigners. Yeah. And then I said, what do you mean? I said, Mom, that's what we are. We're the melting pot. That's foreigners. That's people that are foreigners coming here.
We were the melting pot at one point.
In her defense, that's the way it used to be. It was all white. That's the way it was in Dallas. That's the way it was in Jackson, Mississippi. That's the way her world was. That's the way she was raised.
It's kind of interesting. But back then, they really talked about America being this great melting pot. But it really, you don't hear that phrase anymore. But I heard it a lot when I was a kid. Everyone is talking about the ideal America. What's great about this country is we're a melting pot. Wherever you come from, you can come and have freedom here.
But who wrote that? Who wrote that? That was a copywriter. That was probably a conference room with a bunch of writers. They said, well, look, we got to come up with something. It's something. It was something. Well, they didn't have conference rooms back there. They were sitting around a campfire, eating beans and farting, and they said, hey, we got to come up with something here. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
But anyway. But I agree. It is a melting pot, and that's what I said. It was a melting pot.
But they really didn't want
that. Wasn't her world.
No.
And see, now I was raised by parents that it wasn't their world. So the way I was raised is based on the way they saw their world. Mm-hmm. And so I have some of that in me. We're still talking about race here, and so
But it's just like the more integrated the society is, the more gays you know. I think the reason the gay thing has traveled so fast is because, unlike race, where you be a white person, you may not know any black person beyond perfunctory hellos.
Yeah.
You had a gay family member.
Yeah,
somewhere.
you had a nephew and niece, a son or daughter.
So it was right in your family.
Uncle.
So that sped up the gay thing.
Yeah.
When you're the black-white thing,
I think that's true. I think it has. And plus, I think they, to their credit, they've been more. They are kind of out there being seen. Okay, they're not trying to be in the shadows.
Right.
Right.
Well.
And that's a good thing too.
The thing is, it's kind of flipped because if you're gay, you really can't tell you're gay until you say you're gay.
Yeah.
If you're black, you can see it. It's on your skin.
Yeah.
Where's the conversation with race supposed to end up? With a better understanding? Is that it? Is that the purpose of the having?
A conversation about race? Well, that's a real good question. I don't know where it winds up, and I think it has to do. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we're just two white guys having this conversation.
Right. I think it's supposed to lead to some better understanding of where people are at, what they have to deal with.
Yes. Yes.
And to try to start to fix the wrongs by shining light on it somehow.
Yeah.
Awareness brings light into the dark.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that allows people of good intention and goodwill.
It's just like if you
to change behavior when it's been realized that you have that, or to become conscious
and accept and embrace differences.
Yeah.
You know, I think if you realize that your Uncle Bob, who you always really liked, and you were wondering why he was a bachelor, and you find out that he's gay, you go, well, Uncle Bob's fine. I've always liked him.
Right.
Has a great sense of humor.
Right.
You know, his house looks fabulous. and so there's an awareness and an acceptance that goes on there. And I think that's part of the, having conversations like we are, a couple of white guys, is a start. But it needs to be where you sit around and have these same conversations.
How
with
many
other
black
people.
friends do you have?
None.
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 So
that I think that,
you would be arguably fair-minded when it comes to race, arguably.
Yeah, I feel
right?
so. Yeah.
That you're, in your mind, accepting of blacks and want them to be treated fairly.
I'm not fearful.
Right. Not fearful.
No.
And you want fair treatment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet you have no black friends.
Mm-mm. But my mom didn't either. I don't. But my kids do.
Right.
My kids all do. I mean, Zoe.
All your kids have.
Zoe had this group of friends that they all played kind of like pickup soccer down in Austin. It was a group of them. And there was like a kid that was Indian. There was a kid that was black. There were some gay, some lesbians. There's all kinds of kids. And they called themselves, the team was called the Tokens.
Mm-hmm.
And so they got to know everybody. And they got to meet and
I think that's really key.
And that's good. And then Erin went out with a friend of hers last night who's black. And they had a great time. And then Perry's got a lot of friends that are different nationalities and from around the world because he's a musician. I mean, that's not uncommon at all. And one of his best friends in high school.
Sports, I think, has done that a lot.
Yeah.
It's helped that process a lot.
And so I think
we have to integrate more.
Yeah. Well, it's like the school that Perry went to was 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. It was a magnet school in Dallas, and the school district mandated that it was 1/3 Hispanic, 1/3 black, 1/3 white.
So most police departments have black and white officers.
Yeah,
you would think.
Yeah,
and I would, if I was a police chief, I would make sure if there's two cops in a car, one would. I would put one white and black together. Wouldn't you in most cases?
Yeah, but
so why is that? I don't know. The police mentality overrides?
Well, it's not the mentality. It's the type of people that police deal with on a day-to-day basis. They deal with the lowest common denominator in the white community and the black thing and the Hispanic thing.
So here's the deal. I still believe it's an economical issue.
Oh, I think a lot of it has to do with that. Yeah, absolutely.
If you're on drugs, you're poor, chances are there's an economic tie to this, whether you're white or black.
Yeah.
Now, you could say a larger percentage of African Americans are poor, and so therefore they're being dealt with the police more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But there's still unfairness in we're seeing the unfairness in the way they're treated.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to. I'm semi-surprised because, like sports teams, most police officers, there's a mix of black and white. So why wouldn't that help offset that?
Well, sports teams are all based, they're a collection of individuals that are pulled together based on talents. On talents and needs.
Yeah.
Okay? Police force is not that. It's not. It's not.
If you're in a cop car driving every day with your partner who's black, I would. Doesn't
No. You start to have these conversations, and you get over.
start to get understand.
Oh yeah. I think you.
But when I
absolutely.
remember seeing that McKinney thing at the pool, if I recall, I mean, we saw the white guy do
Yeah.
the thing, but if I recall, there were a couple black cops there as well.
I don't know. I don't remember.
So,
But at that point, there was a guy that went off. He pulled his gun. He should not have pulled his gun. He
Right.
should not have knocked that girl down
Right.
in the bathing suit and put his knee on her back. Sorry, that's just you're out.
yeah,
We don't. And what that is, unfortunately, it shows the worst. But by showing it, you can identify it and remove it.
I do think the body cams will help weed out. Let's say 10% of the police force should not be police force material.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, just like 10% of the nurses, not nurses, well, probably nurses too. Teachers shouldn't be teachers.
Yeah.
They're incapable.
So I do think the body cam will weed that out to a certain
Yeah.
extent.
Yeah.
But I do think there's some cultural things that need to happen.
Yeah.
That's why I think multicultural training for police is like mandatory. It should be mandatory.
So this is a tough conversation. I think we ought to keep going with it, and because I don't know where it's going to lead. I don't know
Right.
where it was going to when we started it today. I don't know where it was going to wind up, but it's still there's so many different facets that are weave into these conversations.
Well, I suggest we continue a conversation with a targeted minority group
Yeah,
and get their perspective because we
That
can
would
only
be
go
great.
so far.
that would be great.
So moving on.
yeah.
What a Dick. Do you have a nomination?
Do
for
I have a what a dick?
What a Dick nomination?
Wow, I don't have one. Do you have one? Yeah.
But I don't know if this week I'm trying to think of what a dick behavior. Do you have anything?
I don't really have a what a dick winner for this, which is good. I mean, maybe
That nothing's
nobody's-
popped up
nothing
since the
has really
Donald.
popped up. No,
Well, yeah, last week was Apple. I'm still
Apple,
torn on that one because they
I
did
know,
do
I
the
love
right
Apple.
thing
I
at the
know
end.
They did do the right
at the end.
thing.
To me, a dick wouldn't do the right thing.
huh?
A dick wouldn't. They would have just.
Well, they
ignored.
wouldn't have if Taylor Swift hadn't stepped up
Yeah,
to
but
the
if
plate.
you're a dick, you wouldn't even if that.
Well, that's true.
I don't know.
We'll give him kind of a half dick. It's a limp dick.
It's
We'll
a
give
limp
him a limp
dick?
dick. Yeah.
All right, as a full
Not,
rage.
not the
dick.
full Donald.
Yes. Boom, boom.
All right.
All right. Check out Carl and Mike at carlandmike.net. Check out our video podcast, 5 Questions in 5 Minutes with Carl and Mike, on iTunes or at carlandmike.com, carlandmike.podbean, podbean.com for the non-iTunes users out
Yes.
there. We're everywhere on social media at Carl and Mike. Please go to iTunes, subscribe, rate, review us. We want to hear back from you. And we'd like to hear your thoughts about race
Yeah.
in your experience.
Did you ask him to submit questions to 5 Cubes?
And yes, please submit questions.
That would be good.
Get your questions on 5 Questions in 5
We'd
Minutes.
like to hear what y'all think.
Think.
Yeah.
2 white guys signing off.
Yeah.
Peace.
All right. Out.